From the PEP Radio Newsroom, we have more breaking news. Opponents of President Donald Trump's agenda are rallying in hundreds of cities nationwide for No Kings protests Saturday, following several days of nationwide demonstrations against federal immigration raids, including in Los Angeles, where Trump deployed the National Guard and U.S. Marines against the wishes of California Governor Gavin Newsom. The protests are timed to counterprogram a massive military parade happening now to commemorate the 250th birthday of the U.S. Army, which coincides with Trump's 79th birthday in Washington, D.C. The event is expected to include 6,600 soldiers, 50 helicopters, and 60-ton M1 Abrams battle tanks, as well as possibly 200,000. It's now estimated to be closer to 300,000 attendees and heightened security to match. Now, to be abundantly clear, there's a lot of news to share, so I'm going to break this out as quickly and succinctly as I can. Forecasters from the National Weather Service warn of damaging wind gusts during the parade. In addition to the flood watch, in place until 11 p.m., the National Weather Service said that gusting winds could roll through the Washington area, and at last check, they were gusting somewhere around 25 miles an hour. The White House has said that the parade goes on, rain or shine, but lightning could bring things to a halt for safety reasons. Red, white, and blue punch and a saber. Those are all festive components of the Army's birthday party cuisine. Patriotic punch is being ladled out for attendees on celebrations on the National Mall. There are separate silver bowls with red, white, and blue drinks. It's handed out alongside slices of the Army's birthday cake, which was a multi-tier confection that uniformed officials cut into with a saber. Now, the White House has specifically asked to add Air Force jets to the Army parade, according to one official. The United States Air Force is horning in on the Army's 250th birthday at the request of the White House. And if you'll recall, back in the 1940s, it at one time was called the U.S. Army Air Force. An official from the U.S. Department of Defense confirmed on Saturday. The official who spoke on condition of anonymity to discuss internal deliberations said that the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds and F-22 fighter jets were a late addition to the parade schedule. The official said the White House specifically made the request. The jets are scheduled to fly over the National Mall after near the beginning of the parade, which has already happened. It wasn't clear why they were added, since the 250th birthday festival and parade are solely featuring Army units, vehicles, and equipment, but the Army does not have fighter jets. Only the Air Force and Navy do. And if that all weren't enough, celebrity chefs add flavor to the Army celebration. In particular, celebrity chef Robert Irvine, known for his work on Food Network, and former White House chef Andre Rush, attended the festival honoring the Army's 250th anniversary. Rush, wearing a camouflage shirt emblazoned with Chef Rush, posed for photos with service members inside a tent, while Irvine observed the festivities unfolding on a stage outside. Meanwhile, protesters flee tear gas in Georgia. In DeKalb County, Georgia, protesters ran away and even climbed over shrubs to escape from police, who set off tear gas and began detaining several people. It wasn't immediately clear what prompted officers to set off the tear gas. Meanwhile, in Mississippi, No Kings protesters cheer on the police? Well, several hundred people gathered on the Mississippi State Capitol lawn to support a wide variety of causes, including democracy itself. Some wore tinfoil crowns to mock President Trump. Meanwhile, others held signs inviting drivers to, quote, honk if you never text war plans, a reference to Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. It feels to me like we are losing the thread of democracy in our country, that it is unraveling before our eyes. Each step that the administration takes appears to take some strand and pull it out of the weave, said Melissa Johnson, who drove an hour and a half to join the protest. The crowd cheered Capitol Police in a gesture of gratitude for shutting down streets to facilitate their march around the building. A small group of counter-protesters, meanwhile, with an anti-abortion sign, congregated nearby, and people on each side began yelling at each other. Police separated them with no one being detained. Today's political violence in Minnesota doesn't stand alone. It's an alarming spike in American political violence. One Democratic Minnesota lawmaker and her husband were killed, while a second one and his wife were gravely wounded, both in their homes. The attacks are the latest in long and lengthening list. There was the firebombing of a march in Colorado calling for the release of hostages in Gaza, the killing of 2 Israeli embassy workers in Washington, D.C., the firebombing of the Pennsylvania governor's mansion in Harrisburg, and that's just in the past 2 months. Before that came the attempted assassination of Donald Trump last year during the presidential campaign, one time at Mar-a-Lago while Donald Trump was golfing, and the other time in Butler, Pennsylvania, while he was in the midst of a campaign speech in July of 2024. The attack on former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband and a shooting at a Republican congressional baseball practice. Says Jacob Ware, a fellow with the Council on Foreign Relations, who researches terrorism. You're seeing acts of violence from all different ideologies. We've also seen video footage from Philadelphia in which close to 80,000 people were attending the No Kings protests. We'll continue to monitor situations around the country and report back as developments unfold. That's the breaking news for this hour. I'm David Moore, reporting from the PEP Radio Newsroom. Please subscribe to the PEP Radio channel on YouTube to keep informed of rapidly changing events as they occur.